Hello, good morning to all our Center Stage magazine readers out there. I'm Dilly Briggs, and today I am getting to speak with the seriously multi-talented artist, author / producer, Sasha George. Good morning, Sasha. How are you doing today?
I am absolutely fantastic, Dilly.
Well, I'm really excited I get to speak with you this morning. We're going to be talking about all of your amazing books, all the series that you have out right now, starting with your beautifully illustrated books of artwork. I did get to go through and see some of this and look through everything. I did as much research as I possibly could, and I'm just amazed at how much detail goes into your artwork. And I know you said, because we kind of previously talked a little bit, we kind of had like a little bit a pre-interview type of thing, because you have so many different projects going on right now yourself. So this way we can just make sure to touch base on everything that you'd like your fans to know that, is coming out for you. And so since we're starting with your books now, and I know you said like that kind of helps kickstart all of your writing, from the vampire series to the children's autism series, which of course is something I can definitely connect to, having a child connected to that world as well. To your healthy living books, which got you featured in the Huffington Post last year. So you're kind of like a jack of all trades, person of many hats. You do everything, right?
Everything but singing. I've not touched that. I don't think I ever will.
Well, you never know, right? You singing in the shower, you never know how you sound.
Christmas song, but that's probably it, Dilly.
Yeah, we'll see you out there caroling with everybody, right? I'm just kidding.
Right.
Okay, so let's start with then, so your art books. Now, I'm hoping this is correct. Now, your first art book is The Art World of Sasha's Innovations, correct?
You stand correct.
Awesome. Now, when was this released, and how did this one come about for you, for your drawings and stuff?
Well, that was released in 2010. It was the first one, obviously, which you just it was pretty much. I had always been very creative with my artistry and my writings throughout my life, but just never really bold enough to share it. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
And it was until when I was attending the Art Institute, I became pregnant and contracted a chronic factor V Leiden, which is a blood clotting issue. And so I was near death, and obviously when you're near that edge, and you're like, wait a minute, I never really did anything to touch base on my life or others. I've never really grappled that type of feeling before, So I came out with a therapeutic concept of writing The Art World of Sasha's Innovations, which is, I thought, was going to be my only book and my last moment of life to provide the world that, hey, I am here, because there's so many people in the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to stand out there.
I mean, but that's so drastic. I mean, to be to the point where you're told you're near death. I mean, just,
right.
What a drastic, scary, life-changing. I couldn't even imagine. I just can't even imagine what you must have felt at that particular moment, But like you said, it gave you that innovation to do something with your art, not just hide it from the world. Because I do understand, like when I first started writing, only my friends and my family, and I was afraid to let anybody else read anything. But it's like, well, if you're going to be a writer, why would you be afraid to let people see your writing? And so I understand what you mean by the fear. I mean, no, I've never taken the jump like you, but I didn't have that. I didn't have something life-threatening pushing me. I didn't have this horrible thing happen to me that, can take my life, to push me to do something like that. And I mean, I don't want to say, it's a good thing that it happened. I mean, I don't want to say that, but the fact that your art did, evolve from this, is something, you did get something beautiful out of this. I mean, the illustration is just out of this world, and that's all, you do all the illustration yourself, correct? I mean, you don't have help when you're doing this, right?
Oh yeah, I do all of my illustrations. Some of the artwork is a mixed media-based drawings, but I do use outside sources who are my stock models who allow me to utilize their specific pose. Some like Iliara, who is a famous, really good model, Alondra, Marion Sky Dancer, Heather Hicks, just really incredible people who give me their photos, and I just create that specific thing around their pose. Sometimes it's not even it's not what they're wearing, because some people put on costumes and try to inspire, but I don't even worry about it. I cut them all out, and I just utilize it's like traditional drawing, literally, but just in a digital perspective.
Well, yeah, they're absolutely amazing. It's just like I saw them and just looking at all of them and just all the details in them. It's like you can't look at it once and get the details. You have to sit there and actually stare at it, and you come back and stare at it another day, and yet you find more details that you didn't find the first time around, even, because it's so intricate.
It's psychological.
Exactly. I loved that. I thought that was just absolutely beautiful. And now this, of course, was just like the first of this, because of course you do have other books, other art books. Now we also hold on, let me see. Now I know you got two other ones. Is Into the Enchantment, Sasha George Art Volume 1. Is that the next one as well? Is that also part of it because it's Volume 1, or is this a new?
Well, this was Sasha's Innovations is a collector's book. It was my first starter book, and then obviously I lost from a flood all my artwork, so it's a collector's book. It's one of those things. And then when I started coming to the reality of, I gave up after Sasha's Innovations. I gave up. I literally I became very comforted by food, like normally when you're depressed, because you have this Russian roulette every day going, it's today the day I'm going to have that silent killer take me away.
Oh, God. And
you very, weigh yourself down. And, of course, I was, my son was, diagnosed with autism, which is a high spectrum of, and
yes, I relate 100% on that.
Trying to deal with myself and then trying to deal with him, and then came into the enchantment where one of my friends, literally, Jack Christie, he shook me and said, why are you not seeing your worth? And that's when I started working on, hey, I need to get out of this. I need to save my life. And so I was at 310 pounds. I started to lose weight. And because I started feeling that passion again of I need to live my life so I can help other people.
Yes.
And that's when Into the Enchantment came. And it was a perfect word of thought. I'm back into the enchantment of myself and my life, my children, the world.
What a beautiful concept. No, that's a beautiful way to look at it, to think of it, because I didn't think of what the name necessarily meant, but the story behind it, that is makes it even more beautiful, because yes, you need to be there. If you don't take care of you, then you cannot be here to take care of others who need you. And as you said, with your child being diagnosed with autism, I know that world. I know the depression that comes with it, the anxiety, and just everything else. We don't even, it's like that secret little, club. You just nod at each other. You just know, and you get it. But it's kind of like that.
I know your pain.
Yeah, exactly. I know whatever frustration and anxiety and everything else, I get it. Even if it's something as simple as that light, bulb being turned on and off 1,000 times, I get it. But, but that's a beautiful thing to think of it that way, because they do need you, and and your children, your family does need you to be around. And if you're not taking care of yourself, then you can't take care of them, and they need you twice as much as you need yourself, kind of, in a way to say, so, it's a beautiful way to look at it, and to release that. I thought that was absolutely a beautiful concept for that. And then you came out with another one, The Artist Soul, Sasha George Art as Soul, and that was volume 2, and it shows that only came out in August, the same year, the same month, and everything. I mean, how do you do such back to back illustration? I mean, it would take me forever to draw a kid's face. How in the world could you draw so, I mean, and is it like something that comes to you very quickly? I mean, something you could just sit down and do, or does it take a while? I mean, to have 2 books back to back in the same month seems so much, and all the writing as well.
You know how Dorothy has her magic red slippers, ruby slippers?
Mm-hmm.
I stole Forrest Gump's shoes.
Oh.
So I put his shoes on and I just ran. I can't stop. It literally, I honestly, if I want to be really honest, I had a dream. And I know that's so funny. I had a dream. And it was like speaking to myself, and I know it sounds really insane, but in a creative sense, it was just like, I feel like I don't have a lot of time. And so I was woken up, and I just can't stop. Like, I'll lay there, and I can't stop thinking. And it's the same thing with my book. Obviously, this year I produced 11 books.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's just amazing. Now it's like you're this insomniac who can't sleep now because the creative juices are just constantly flowing, and but that's, I mean, it's a good thing. And I understand when you said you feel like almost like you have that urgency to get everything out, all your talent out, because you have all this amazing talent, and I understand that. But of course, I mean, you have, a life-threatening, illness that's got you, driven. So naturally you would have that type of a feel, but it's amazing what you're able to put out so quickly at the same time, because not only have you done all of that, but I mean, you also have a poem book. I love poetry, and I know you have a poetry book called Beautifully Broken, Enter My Poetic Penetralia, and that was just out on March 12th of this year as well, or the 15th. I'm sorry, we're in already 2016. I'm sorry, so 2015. I'm sorry, I got to remember that. So you had that also out, and now is this a book of just poems only? Are there stories in that as well? Because I know there's some poetry in there. I got a quick preview.
Yeah, they're all poems. It's relationship regards, emotional regards, psychological analysis to heal you and be like, I understand. I don't have to anchor that thought anymore, and I can walk away. It pretty much is, no matter how beautiful sometimes people say, it's just, you still feel broken.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what the book is, to help get that. And one of my old coworkers used to say is, go to the bathroom, use it, wash your hands, it's done. And that's pretty much what that book is. It's read it, feel good, it's all done. Move on.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was beautiful. I love the fact that it said beautifully broken, and the picture is you crying. But what got me was the big somebody just torn out this big chunk of flesh, and your heart is exposed. So I like that. I just again, from a writer's perspective, maybe it's just me. I like that whole, everything is not perfect. It's not a perfect world. It's always, princesses and princes, and in the end, the good win type of thing. But reality is the world don't always work that way, So I do like seeing, the writers and books and poetry, whatever it is out there, saying, hey, sometimes life is just tough, and this is what we have to deal with, and more people would relate to that than everything is the perfect world. So I think
if you want a perfect world, go to a movie.
Exactly, exactly. And we lived in a perfect world, I mean, yeah.
Buy a book.
Nobody would even have challenges to write about to begin with. So, in a way, it kind of wakes the world up. As you said, you were woken up and feel you need to get this out. And kind of, I want to touch on this. This kind of goes a little bit with what we talked about in the pre-interview as far as what your name means. Now, Sasha, I did not know, is a Russian name that has a special meaning. Can you explain to all the fans what your name means?
It means helper to mankind, which is definitely a weight to wear on your shoulders, and not in a bad way, but
in a heavy way, in a way though, because you have something to give
to everybody.
Exactly.
No matter what it is, I am very patient. I love observing people. I'm a very voyeuristic kind of person, and I enjoy seeing the little traits. And even if they're falter, I like to go up and help. I mean, it's leaving those little factors of, wow, you touched me, just like the art piece. It may not pertain to you, but you could say, I relate. And that's
Yes.
influencing enough,
Yeah, you exactly. No, I completely agree. I completely relate with that. And I thought that was beautiful though, because you have such a talent to give, not just in the artwork and, but just in your writing as well. So many people will relate to your writing, whether it's the vampire series, whether it's the children's autism series, or whether it's the healthy living series or the poetry, or, whatever you're going to be producing in the next week, or something, because you seem to be having something coming out every time.
I'm giving my secrets out.
So, but like I said, that's why we previewed ahead of time, so I knew what I could. But you just seem so busy,
Go ahead.
so just nonstop busy, but I think that's wonderful because you do have a lot to give, and you have a fan following, and there's, just when we kind of like gave a little sneak peek of, hey, we have some, interview coming up with the, author Sasha George. We had people on the magazine already posting, oh my God, I love her work. I follow her books, So, I mean, I think that's absolutely wonderful. So people are already intrigued with your work. So you're already sharing, you're doing exactly what your name was meant to be.
Provide, yeah.
So
and that's what they want.
I think that's beautiful. I love that.
They want something that makes them think and not so numbed and just so traditional.
Exactly. So, and I think that kind of like opens up and brings us actually to your vampire series, the House of Blood series, because again, this is something that's going to make people think, open their minds. This is not your average little, Cinderella type of story, or any, type of thing like that. So, so then now you have 3 books of the House of Blood series, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now the first one is that is the Vampires Remorse. That is the first one that came out. Is that correct? Volume 1?
Correct.
And now can you kind of like just give a quick little touch base on what this particular one is? I know it's the introduction about, the vampires and the remorse and everything, but like kind of tell the fans what was your like motivation and kind of how this kind of came about.
Well, I've always been a fan of vampires. I think my first vampire as younger was White Wolf, because I'm from Chicago, and White Wolf is based out of there, and they did Vampire the Masquerade, and of course, Anne Rice with her. But as you and I talked before, I wanted something that wasn't based out of love, like Bram Stoker's and stuff like that.
Yes.
I wanted to really get into the mind of a vampire, because, I mean, if you really want to think about it, years and years and years on the world, love is not exactly there. It's all psychological of where you want to fit in next, because you're never going to fit in. So Vampires Remorse is basically about, it's a way to draw you into the overall story of the House of Blood family, but it's more, why can't I be human anymore? Why do I have to be a monster? How can I save myself from becoming that beast that everybody already depicts me, and it's really a frustrating anxiety of things. And they go to an AA group of vampires and talk about it.
I loved that. I have to say, when I read, I won't give away what I read, but that section, you mentioned that AA meeting, I read a section of that, and I won't give it away, but I loved that whole concept. I was just like, wow, that is so different. But I loved it. I loved it. Now, and this is, this was the first one. And the second one, now this one is actually called House of Blood, even though it's the House of Blood series, volume 2.
Right.
And now, why is this one actually called House of Blood? Is this where you're introducing like more of the monarchy and everything in?
Well, the monarchy is geared within the House of Remorse, and it slowly gets you into why all vampires are feeling that way they are, and it's derived from the House of Blood. Everybody has a theory about how vampires are created, and the House of Blood is pretty much the family who infected a certain perspective. And I can't really give it because there's so many different levels of thought within this. And it's just a frustrating thing is you have all these family members and they have all their part played. And it's getting to a reason of why everybody is here and why they're suffering in the manner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I know you can't go into too much detail because you don't want to give a lot away or anything like that, so I don't mean to put you on the spot and give us more. But I mean, like I had told you before when I spoke with you, I said, I know you can't see me, but my mouth is open and I'm gripping the phone. I'm like so intrigued into the descriptions of what you were giving me, and to me it's amazing. So I understand you can't get too much into that. But okay, from there, let's go ahead and jump into the third one, because now you also have the third series out, volume 3 of the House of Blood series, and this one is called The Signs. And can you do maybe just a quick little brief on that without giving too much, maybe?
Yeah, House of Blood is like the primary component that holds the base together, like an egg.
Mm-hmm.
You use that egg to hold like your meatloaf together. It's kind of hard to let you cut it open, then you know what the ingredients are.
Yeah.
But The Signs is pretty much getting into the preparation of what's coming.
Oh,
and
okay.
That is what they're facing with. And Cornelius is the primary father who created the sisters of all, which is Dominique, Natasha, and Morticia. And he's gone. He's missing. And there's a specific reason. Because of this one that's coming, he has something that it wants to cross over into the world because of a heaven and hell perspective, which leads up to the fourth book, which is the Magdalene Descendant.
Okay, now this is the one that really, kind of sparked the interview as well, because now this is volume 4, the one you're talking about right now. This is the brand new book that you have out now for the House of Blood series, volume 4. And again, can you say the name again for this brand new book?
Oh, yeah, it's the Magdalene Descendant. It's pretty much based off of Mary Magdalene.
Okay. And can you kind of give us a little bit? I know, like I said, I know it's hard for you. You don't want to give too much away, but just like what you would normally do to promote the book, what you would normally kind of tell people.
Well,
or shall we just say you have to get the book to read it?
I will say it's her fault. We'll say it that way.
It's what? I'm sorry?
It's her fault of this stranger that's imposing that it's like a chain.
Oh, okay.
Reasoning created a chain of events, and it's the descendants that will have balance, which will lead to the vampire prophecy of the House of Blood. So, it's going to be a 40-book series, which I have
A 40 book series?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Because I'm like already intrigued of like, I have to catch up on my reading already. If it's going to be, if it's going to be 40, then I need to do this now.
That's awful.
But again, I need to start reading and catching up on my reading now if there's going to be 40. And by the way you put books out, I just don't understand how you can put them out so fast and chase an autistic child, still have another child on top of that, have a husband. If he's like mine, I have an extra child sometimes. And, so it just, that's just amazing. And for everything that you've been doing. So when is this going to be out? When is this fourth book supposed to be out?
It's going to be out hopefully at the end of the month or in the middle of next month.
Okay, so fans don't really have to wait a long time for this series, since it's going to be a really long series. You're pretty much getting these books out quickly,
I'm hoping to eventually negotiate to HBO, Showtime, or something.
Oh, you know what? That would be wonderful. Like the Left Behind series type of thing. We just started watching that, and that type of stuff where your books are made kind of into a mini series where it would constantly go for like so many months.
Exactly.
Or something. That would be absolutely wonderful. I would definitely be one to watch it. I'd be glued to my seat, hanging on, going, I know the person who wrote this. You don't understand. This is so great, So,
you don't understand.
Like, you don't understand. But again, I mean, I understand from, I'm, like I said, I was very excited about talking to you. For me, this is like one of the highlights of this particular type of job, because like I said before, you're kind of where I would like to be in so many years with the writing, because I do have a lot of stories and stuff like that, not just, talking to people and reviewing for them, so yeah, and I have dark, and then I have autistic stories as well, because again, connected to that world. So I mean, for me, it's a highlight because you are doing what I would like to do eventually, you know what I mean? So you're already established to where I would like to be. So yeah, this is a big highlight for me. So I know I'm supposed to be professional. I'm sorry when I get a little excited, and you can hear my fangirl come out, you can hear when I get excited, and, but I understand from that perspective, I come from kind of a bit of that background and stuff. So I understand. Now, before we get into any exclusives, I know you said you did have an exclusive for us. I do want to touch base really fast on your Dan stories for your children autism stories. Now you have Dan the Apple, which is Dan's World Volume 1, and then you just came out with Dan and Christmas, Dan's World Volume 2. I know it's if you can just give us a quick touching base on those, and then also I know you also had a little children's one, a Halloween Witch Fairy. So you had also now that wasn't autistic, right? That was just a children's Halloween story, correct? It was very cute. I love the little illustration and the poems on that.
Elizabeth, she was very demanding.
Oh, yeah, well, if you're going to make one for him, you got to make one for me, right?
Yes, exactly. You got to make balance as a parent.
Fair is fair, Mom. Okay, plain and simple.
Correct. Dan's World is co-authored with Dee Carlson, and she was my son's at school who helps like an aide, and she's very affiliated, and she came to me, and we kind of collaborated together, and we created Dan's World based off of Dan and his friends. Mm-hmm. And it's not so much trying to heal or trying to identify the autistic perspective, because obviously that would make me a doctor. I can't do that.
Yeah, and there's such a wide perspective. Nobody's on the same level. Yes. It's like a twin. No one is ever the same. There's no one is ever the same. Even twins are different, so I understand that.
Yeah. So it's definitely about sounds and changes, which, because autistic children, I call them my little werewolf, because they're so heightened. Their senses are so heightened.
Yes.
But they're so fast in their thought process. Even I can't, well, maybe I can because I produce so much, but beyond me.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's actually a really good analogy, because their senses are so heightened, that the average don't realize that even something like a cricket outside can hurt your child's ears, and they have no idea what's going on, so that's actually a really good analogy. So, but I wanted to touch on that because I thought those were just absolutely awesome. I love that you have that Dan is a little worm that travels around with his family. I love that his little worm sister has a little dress, and Grandpa Worm has a little beard. He's got the facial features, and the illustration is so cute. It'll definitely catch kids' attention, and it just sounds like it's more about awareness than anything else because everybody on the spectrum is different from everybody else on the spectrum. It makes no difference, and it's just
so the worm, because the worm is sensitive.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it was Dan and the apple to begin with, so you immediately identify the apple and the worm, which was really cute.
Never.
So I really love that, and I love that you did do these stories because, again, I mean, that's something that I would like to be able to touch base on as well, and, I love that you're doing all of that, and that you were fair and made sure you got one in there for your daughter, and which I thought was a really cute little Halloween story as well. Now, I know that you were saving an exclusive for us, so I know that you have a surprise for your fans out there, for all the House of Blood series, followers, and any of our Center Stage magazine readers that are now followers. I know you already got me hooked, so for sure. But can you please tell us what this big exclusive surprise is?
Well, I have been very evasive to my fans. They've been waiting for this new release called Realm, and it was released, and I wanted to share that exclusively for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I'm excited to hear about this. We did go into a little bit about it before, but if you can maybe do the same thing, give just whatever you feel you can tell fans about this.
Well, Realm is basically a dark fantasy. It's got the usual, the wizards and stuff, and mermaids and fairies, but it's dark. It's not the conventional make you feel better, because I prefer things that are realistic but put into that notion. And it's pretty much about two individuals, one who is very good and wholesome and is turned into evil, and then another one who has years of evil and then suddenly is choosing a path of good. And they fight for the balance of a culture within a land, a realm. There's many different places, obviously, but the primary goal is realm, because there's something there that they both need. So it's definitely a journey. And originally I thought I was going to make it just one book, but as a writer, you just begin to see so much more potential, and you just want to go further.
Oh, and yeah, that just, I mean...
The second exclusive is for you, Dilly.
I am so excited you did that. I was so happy though, just to find out when we first talked about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, really? Are you serious? I was like, are you serious? I was like, oh, tell me about it. And just like I had said, I was like gripping the phone, and when you were going into, I mean, I'm not going to give any details away because you did go into more details with me, personally, privately, off the record type of thing. But I'm not kidding. I was just gripping that phone, and I was just like, oh my gosh, then what happens next? Then what happens next? Because again, I'm the type of person that I like reading this type of stuff. I like writing this type of stuff. So I was very like on the edge with just the descriptions you were giving me. Because again, you went into more detail with me, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this to come out, already. And I can't wait to get this. And I'm still having to catch up on the other ones, already. And I'm like already intrigued with this one. So this is Realm.
You and your daughter a book.
Oh, are you serious? Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's coming out next month. I could read a little bit of it for you.
Oh my goodness. Yes, please.
Well, I know that your daughter was having surgery and stuff.
Yes.
And
well, she was having a lot of seizures and going through major testings for that.
Right, and I was very proud of you for keeping your head up and staying beside her. So I chose to do something for you, and it's a children's book for her.
Oh.
And it says, 2 flowers were friends, this is true. until one said, I'm better than you, and grew and grew and grew. Carefully, flower number 2 said, I know exactly what I can do. Go any higher, and I might lose you, said flower number 1. Lose me? Don't be silly. I'm about to touch the ceiling. Oh, no, I can't look. All the while, her flower friend snapped in too. Do not worry. Someone will rescue you, and placed her in a glass. Flower 2 acted different now, quite sad. And that's what flower 1 said. No matter what you do, no matter how tough things get, I will always be here and see you through because I'm your flower friend.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you made me cry.
Because I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I am so floored right now. I can't even believe you did that. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry.
Oh no, but it's happy tears. That's happy tears. I mean, for someone to go out of their way and do something so special, so touching, so personal. Oh my God, I'm already such a fan. That's just so amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much. You just have no idea how much you touched my heart right now. You have absolutely no idea. Oh my God, and my daughter is going to be so excited to read that and hear that. And the fact that you said flowers. I don't know if you know this, but my daughter and I, we automatically wear flowers in our hair no matter what. The pictures.
That's why I chose the flower, because I always see you with it. And I thought that was probably a personal perspective.
It is. It very is. A lot of people thought originally, because by trade, I'm a florist by trade. I was a florist and wedding coordinator by trade. And so people thought it was because of that. And really it was once she got diagnosed as well, when we were in crowds of people. She wanted to go play with other little kids, of course, and things like that. But I needed to be able to spot her. And I needed her to be able to spot me. And so actually the flowers in our hair are because I needed to be able to spot her. It was a beacon. So when I would let her go play with the other kids in the park or whatever, and she was little and she'd just run and go play with all of them, I can easily see her amongst all the sea of kids because she'd have a big giant flower in her hair. And whenever she'd look up, she didn't have to look up and look around for me. No matter what, she'd look up, she would automatically see all the moms over there. There was somebody with a big flower in her hair. That's mom, so it was a beacon. So it was a personal thing. Yeah. So that I can keep my eye on my child, because again, when you have an autistic child, you're just like, a cat in water, constantly watching everybody. You're on edge. Everything is like, where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? So it was just an easy beacon. Yeah. And I don't want to hold her away from going into, with other kids and playing and having that, because if she can do it, that's great. That's hard enough as is. So I wanted to be able to spot her easily, and she could spot me easily. So it was just a beacon, and it stuck. So it just became a permanent beacon, pretty much. And oh my God, thank you so much. Oh my God, you just made my whole year. Oh my God, oh my God, you made me cry. That was just absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Sasha George. You are amazing. You're an amazing artist, an author, a producer, just all around wonderful person, mother, friend, just absolutely a beautiful person inside out. And that just proved it right there when you had no reason and no need to do that at all. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for doing that. I just, oh my God, I appreciate that.
About the projects that are upcoming. One I wanted to touch base.
Oh yeah, let's get to that really quick. Sorry. We got sidetracked talking like we have known each other for years.
Right. Royce has autism and cancer, so he produced a lot of stories for him, and I wanted to go in there and help him as well. And because he came up with them, and I definitely understand where he is with his struggles, and I hope I can touch base with him. I call it the Amazing Royce Project.
Oh, awesome. That's beautiful.
And then I'm working with Kevin Lee, who is author. He's an author of Trio, and I'll be working with him for future. And Jim Kern, we're doing a sci-fi book as well. There's a lot of neat things. Oh, and Georgie, I always call her Gio, but Georgia. So we're going to be doing a love fantasy fantasy thing, and love stories are hard for me, but.
But you've got so many different projects and so many different, and so many different aspects. Everybody loves something somewhere else, and you seem to have, Sasha, the lady who needs to share everything with everybody, seems to have her hand in everything. So that's kind of a good thing. Your name was like the perfect fit for you because you are fulfilling a lot of different shoes instead of just one. You're not just one particular type of artist, and this is what you do, and you stick with this, and you have a certain fan following for this particular thing only, but there's no change, because you do get certain artists that stick to certain things, but there's no difference in change, and yet you have your hand in all the cookie jars everywhere, but
Right? I love my cookies.
I think that's awesome. That's just absolutely amazing. So I can definitely say then we can, or at least I can hope I can definitely say that we'll have a few more interviews coming up with you in the future when you get all these other things off the ground, all these other projects off the ground. We would love to be able to, maybe next time do an on-camera interview with you, since we've now dabbled in the audio for the on-the-spot talk segments. And but I mean, we happen to be close enough to each other that we can always set up an on-camera interview for when you get the next projects off of the ground, and we can kind of help you promote all of those. And when you get Realm really going, and and all these other things, and when Alyssa's flower book comes out, that would be amazing.
I would definitely like to meet her.
Oh, that's just we will set something up then on a private separate play date or something, so anyways, is there now really quick, if you can kind of let people know before we close this interview. I know we started talking about a lot of different things, but like, where can fans follow you? Where can fans find your information? What are your websites that the fans can click on, and just to kind of give them a quick, something that they can link on now, or they can find you, and where to find your art and your books and everything else.
I'll give two specific instructions. One is SashaGeorge.com, and all my social medias are there, depending on the preference, because everybody loves their different social media.
Yes, some people have a lot of different ones.
Right, and if that is not available to find, then you can just type in Sasha George in any browser and you'll find me.
Oh, okay.
I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere. Okay, yeah, because sometimes some artists are hard to find, but like you said, you're everywhere. You got your hand in all the cookie jars, so we should be able to find you easily then.
Movies, everything.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Now, is this what you're hoping for now? You're hoping to get your other series as well, like maybe have like you said, HBO or Showtime or something, somebody call you up and, interested in your series, whether it's the vampire series or anything else, right? Does it matter which ones?
It doesn't matter which one. I just think it would be very interesting to work on that different medium, because yes, I've been producing, with Scott Essman and his field, but I would really like to do something of my own productions to see it and touch people in different ways. I think it would be very great. You know how that is.
Oh yeah, and you would definitely reach far more people, in that aspect, because there's not a lot of people who have the time to sit down to read a book, or even get online to look up something like that, so.
Notre Dame, not Notre Dame. Like in the biblical sense, why they did stained glass windows is because not everybody could comprehensively read, so they did visual like that. So some people are very visual, and some people just like the meatiness of adjectives.
Yes.
So I totally get that.
Yes, no, I definitely, and for me, I need to have a little bit of both. I'm very visual, but I do need to have a little bit of both. I usually have some visual in with whatever I'm reading, and for me, that it brings it home, and it really makes the connection for me. So you're right. A lot of people, do need to have that visual to go with it. And then that's what, for me, that's what sticks it in my head and really brings it home. If whatever I'm reading, there happens, even if it's like just one or two pictures or something, but if there's a visual to go with it, it really embeds it in my mind. So there will be a lot of people that really would work for, and yeah, you would definitely reach so much more people, and I think that would be just absolutely wonderful. But
yeah, eventually I'll have my own radio station. You know how it is.
Oh yeah, there you go, and then you can have me on there. I'll help you out. So, I mean, this was absolutely wonderful, Sasha. I appreciate that. This call. It's a beautifully raining, dark morning to have this type of a conversation. I had my coffee. I'm staring outside, looking at the rain, and we're talking vampires and autism. So, it's a beautiful morning. I never thought I would have that type of morning, but it's a beautiful morning, and you made me cry. I love what you did for my daughter and myself, and that was just amazing. You have an amazing heart, and you truly touched my heart, and you have a fan forever now, no matter what. So thank you so much, Sasha. Is there anything else that you would like your fans to know? Anything, maybe a real quick, that I know we had a long conversation already, but if there's anything else you want to give fans information to, if not, then we can, make sure that we have you again and we can do another interview and get all your other projects, promoted for you as well.
Well, I just want to say thank you for all the love and support that I've given. I'm really thankful for Center Stage Magazine for reaching out and allowing this opportunity for an independent writer, because it's very hard and very difficult, especially when you're dealing with so much.
Oh, God, yes.
These moments are a blessing for me.
Yes, and you have a lot on your plate, too, so that's...
Yes, and, I welcome anybody to talk to me, conversate, questions. I love people, and I just want to continue to be there as long as I can. So thank you very, 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 very much. It's on my heart.
Well, thank you too. I truly appreciate this whole conversation, everything that we've talked about, and just, again, you truly touched my heart. You made me cry, but in a good way. Usually, we don't get to cry in a good way, when it comes to our, to this autism world, and so that was just amazingly beautiful to me, and I appreciate that so much. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for this opportunity, for you allowing us at Center Stage Magazine to be able to speak with you and have this opportunity and to bring this to the fans. I know you have fans out there, and you're not just, in the book world. I hope now people that will come across our article and hear this interview would also, be intrigued as much and want to go out there and see what your art is about, your work is about, whether it's, the vampires or the autism or just the regular children's stories or whatever it is, the poetry. You have a lot out there that a lot of people really, truly can connect to, and I just wish you the absolute best. And on a private note, I will talk to you, and so I can pick your brain another time,
You're welcome to it.
If that would be okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sasha. I really appreciate this, and we will definitely talk to you again soon. So make sure, everybody, to check her out, Sasha George. Go to sashageorge.com. Check out her series for her House of Blood series, Vampire series. She has Dan's World. It is an children's autism stories. Brings a lot of awareness, something that's easy for other children to understand through these type of books. Her poetry books, her art books. So please check her out. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This is Dilly Briggs with Center Stage Magazine. And we will talk to you again soon, Sasha.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.